What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, alright, we're going back to Mary's Blood. Yes, indeed, Mary's Blood fans feeling you. Come on now. Here we go. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all of the clicks and the likes and the bibbidi-bibbidi-bop, do me a favor before you do all that stuff. Please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Greg Garvin, and Greg wanted to see me react to this song by Mary's Blood called Arcadia. Now, have I heard this song before? No, I have not. To the best of my knowledge, this does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard this song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, wait a second, I recognize this song, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Let's see, this was posted by Mary's Blood Official, okay? And the video has 108,000 views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Mary's Blood 10th Anniversary Box DVD Blu-ray. It doesn't say anything about Arcadia. Maybe that's it over here. Maybe that's it over here. I don't know. Look, this is the link I was given. All right, so if we're not in the right place, don't blame me. Blame Greg. He's the one who gave me this link. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this. Last one, you
Okay, yeah, I was thinking to myself, I'm feeling this ascending line in unison with the two guitar players, it feels like it's leading into a guitar solo. Looks like I'm right. Okay, so I don't want to have to pause in the middle, so we're going to back up a little bit, which I just did. So I don't have to pause in the middle of the solo. The song itself, like the songwriting, it sounds fine. It sounds good. It's fast-paced. I like that. We got that double time feel going pretty much the entire time. Snare on the upbeats, not on the downbeats. They're on the and. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And every time I've said this, when it comes to doing double time feel, there's two ways you could do it. You could put the snare on the downbeats, or you could put the snare on the upbeats. But you have to put them all four. You know. They both have the pluses and minuses. By putting it on the upbeats, it gives the illusion of rushing without actually rushing. But it gives the illusion of getting that little extra push, where if you put the snare on the downbeats, it's a little more, I don't want to say a little more powerful, a little more prominent, I guess is a good way of putting it. Whereas you put on the upbeats, you get a little more of that illusion of a push. That's what they're going for here, is getting that extra little illusion of a push to make the song seem like it's going just a little bit faster than it actually is. Nothing wrong with it. A lot of bands have done it. A lot of bands have had great success with it. The introduction with the keyboards, well, it's not really a keyboard, obviously. It's a track, but having the guitar and bass, guitars, both, and bass kind of working in unison together, it did leave the song sounding a little bit hollow. Now, luckily, the track was there to kind of fill out the sound, but the bottom end was kind of lacking because the bassist was up on the neck the entire time. So the bottom end did suffer a little bit. But other than that, I mean, everything about the intro sounded really good. My biggest complaint, if I'm being honest here, my biggest complaint really has nothing to do with the band or what the band is playing. It has to do with the mix. Whoever's working FOH needs to get slapped in the back of the head, because the vocals are getting absolutely buried by the guitars. Guitars are dominating the mix, and at times it's making the vocals really hard to hear, and that's kind of a faux pas. You don't want the lead vocalist to get buried by the instrumentation. So yeah, it happens, you know, especially when you got people running FOH that really have no idea what they're doing, or maybe they know how to run the board, but they don't know how to listen to the mix. So it happens. It does happen. And hopefully those FOH operators will learn. Hopefully they'll learn from their mistakes and they'll get better as a result. One can only hope. Anyway, let's get back in this. Let's hear the guitar solo.
I'm gonna
Okay. I've seen better from them. I've heard better from them. But, I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I'm going to have a real hard time scoring this up as high as I've scored other things from them. Just based on their own standards. Not the strongest outing I've seen from them. But I guarantee you we won't be in the negatives. I can promise you that. But I don't see us being in the 9s or the 8s, if I'm being honest. I don't see that happening. Let me get my thoughts together. I'll see you in the review, and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Mary's Blood with Arcadia. At least I hope it was Arcadia. This was a request from Greg Garvin. Okay, there's really not a lot to talk about, so let's just get to it here. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that a 7.5. Yep, 7.5. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay, first things first, a 7.5. What does that mean? Well, a 7.5 would translate to a really good skill rating because overall I think this was a really good presentation. It would also get 4 out of 5 stars and a B+ letter grade. So there you go, a 7.5, really good skill rating, 4 out of 5 stars, and a B+ letter grade. Now, how did I come up with that score? So glad you asked. Okay, even by Mary's Blood's own standards, this is not the strongest outing I've seen for them. I've seen much better outings for them, both from a visual standpoint and from an audio standpoint, okay? I mean, look, the songwriting on this, they really put a lot of emphasis on the speed. And listen, the speed was fine. The speed was good. I never felt like they were going to wreck. The song felt like it was in complete control the entire time, okay? It did. If I'm being honest, the song kind of gave me vibes of, what's that baby metal song? Road of Resistance. When it came to the guitar lines, the synchronized guitar lines, where they're playing in unison as far as syncopation goes, the rhythmic patterns are the same, but they're playing harmonized. So it is unison playing, but they're not playing the exact same notes. There's harmonies there. Kind of gave me a lot of vibes of that. It was very accurate. Yes, it was. It was also very repetitive. So it's not like they were going all over the place. They were playing the exact same riff over and over and over again. Okay, I mean, look, it's still being done clean. Okay, it is. Am I going to sit there and go, that's impressive? Nah, not really. I mean, it was cleanly done. It was fast, yes, but it didn't really go anywhere. It was the same riff over and over and over and over again. The exact same pattern over and over and over again. So, I mean, I'll say it was nice that it was clean, but that's about all I can say. It was fast and it was clean. The bass playing in the intro, when she was up on the neck, playing along with the guitars, playing in unison with the guitars, it did let the bottom end disappear. And I wasn't the biggest fan of that. Now, luckily they had the track there to fill out the sound, but you can fill out the sound with the keyboard as much as you want. If there's no bottom end in the keyboard or in the track, then there's still no bottom end. And the intro was lacking a bottom end, unfortunately. And it did feel, as a result, a little hollow, a little empty. Once the song kicked in, bass went down into the lower register. And from that point on, the lower end was taken care of. Even when she went up on the neck, you know, at times throughout the song, she didn't stay there for very long. She went there for like a measure at most, and then she was right back down on the lower end again, covering the bottom end, which is exactly what you want to have a bass player do. So it was fine after the intro, but the intro did leave a little something to be desired. My biggest gripe about this, if I'm being honest, was the mix. Man, whoever was working FOH really loves guitar, man, because the guitars were prominent in the mix. The guitars were the loudest voice, even drowning out the lead vocals, which I am never a fan of. If you're gonna have the guitar, look, if you're playing an instrumental song, okay, if it's an instrumental, and the guitars are the loudest thing in the mix, okay, I get it, because as long as the guitars have the job of handling the lead melodic line, okay, no problem. Let them do their thing because they're the most important voice in there. They should be up in the mix because they are covering the main melodic line. Unfortunately, here we don't have an instrumental song. We have a song with vocals, and the vocals are carrying the main melodic line, but the guitars are burying her. And I really don't feel like whoever was running FOH was really doing her any justice. I know the audio coming through was from the main board. It wasn't, microphones picking up, the FOH cabinets. So in the pipeline mix, guitars are dominating. How did the FOH guy not hear this? The FOH guy's wearing headphones, right? So you can hear the mix. How are you not picking up on this? My only two explanations are, one, he has no idea what he's doing. Two, he's doing it on purpose because either he wants to hear the guitars prominently in the mix, or he was told to have the guitars prominently in the mix. Now, I don't think for 1 second Mary's Blood's management or tour manager came up to the guy working FOH and said, hey, we want the guitars to dominate. I don't think for 1 second that that's the case. So that leads me to believe that either, like I said, A, that's what he wanted. That's what the FOH guy wanted. Forget what everybody else wants to hear. He's working FOH, so he's going to do whatever he wants. And I hope that's not the case. If that is the case, he ain't going to be working in this business for very long. B, he has no idea what he's doing, which is very, very possible. Maybe this was his first night on the job working FOH. Maybe there wasn't anybody overseeing him. I don't know. But in any case, vocals were getting buried, and I was absolutely not a fan of that. As far as the musicianship, this is really where the strong points of this entire presentation are happening, is with the musicianship itself. Guitar work was clean, absolutely. The bass work, even though we had the intro, leave the bottom end out. After the intro, from that point forward, from when the song actually kicked in, going on, I had no problem with anything the bass player was doing. Bass player was playing clean, really doing a great job of covering the bottom end. So I had absolutely no issues with the bass player after the intro. Drumming, if I'm being honest, I think was the high point of the entire song. Great job switching between the double time feel and the straight time feel. When she would go the double time feel, snare on the offbeats, giving it that illusion of rush, giving it that illusion of push. I thought that was really smart. Good choice on her end. And when she would transition into the straight time feel, it was done very smoothly every single time. Almost to the point where there were a couple times where she switched between straight time and double time, or double time to straight time, where I almost missed it because her transition was so smooth. So I got to give the drummers some absolute props on that. Vocally, what I could hear of the vocals sounded just fine. I had no issue with anything that the vocals was doing. She sounded good, sounded strong, sounded clean. And I'm going to give a special shout out to her because she did something that not every vocalist is going to do. And I wish more vocalists would do this. When the track took over, she made sure to pull that microphone as far away from her mouth as she possibly could, which allowed her to do two things. One, interact with the crowd, get the crowd to sing along. That was number one. Number two, proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that when the track kicked in and when the track took over the vocal line, she didn't have the microphone in front of her mouth pretending to sing. She was not lip syncing, and she made it very clear that when the vocal came in on the track and the vocal track took over, she was not going to sit there and lip sync. No. She made it very obvious, and I got to give her props for that. How many lead singers have we caught, where they've been lip syncing the track? How many lead singers have we caught? We've caught quite a few on this channel. So I got to give her props for being honest. Absolutely. And I absolutely appreciate that. As far as the live show goes, if I'm being honest, this was not the best representation of the live show. Normally, this is where I would say the live show can help your score or it can hurt your score. This is one of those rare situations where they did just enough to not get in trouble, but at the same time, they didn't do enough to raise the score either. So it didn't help the score. It didn't hurt the score. It was just kind of there. Yeah, the lead vocalist was interacting with the crowd, but that was about all she was doing. She didn't really move around the stage at all. There was no stage interaction at all. None. Zilch. Nada. So, I mean, she was interacting with the crowd. And like I've always said, if there's going to just be one thing you're going to do and forget everything else, but you're going to do this one thing, make sure it's crowd interaction. Well, she did. She absolutely did. And I also saw some crowd interaction from the guitarist over on stage left. And I saw some crowd interaction from the bassist as well. The rhythm guitarist in the back on stage right, I didn't see anything from her whatsoever. I didn't see anything from the drummer. But there was no stage interaction whatsoever. There was hardly any stage energy, which was kind of a bummer as well. They had stage presence, but that was it. As far as showmanship goes, it was really up to what was happening with the crowd interaction. So it didn't help, but it didn't hurt. So that 7.5 really is coming from the live performance of the song itself and of the song writing. So I think it's a really good song. It is a really good song in my opinion. It does sound good. It is pleasing to the ear. It hits all the right buttons, but it did leave a little something to be desired, especially with the mix. Now, like I said, I understand that's not their fault. That's not the band's fault, and I do not blame the band for the mix whatsoever. But unfortunately, the engineering in the mix and in the live setting, the FOH settings, it is part of the overall presentation. So, gotta hold it accountable. But nonetheless, getting a 7.5. Like I said, I didn't see this being in the negatives. I didn't see that happening. But getting an 8 or a 9, no. 9, no chance. And honestly, 8, I would not. If I had given this even an 8.0, I would not have felt comfortable with that. So I would have really looked at myself and gone, what in the world are you thinking?
What's the matter with you?
So anyway, 7.5, I feel good with that score, and that's where we're going to stay. So let's wrap everything up here in a nice shiny bow, shall we? We have a 7.5, which is a really good skill rating, 4 to 5 stars, and a B+ letter grade. Take your pick, I don't care, whichever one of those floats your boat. Final word, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hope I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, then I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, well then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for the night, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.